How is it going, guys? Alejandro Rios here, and it is a pleasure for me to share with you this very short presentation about the atom. Let's jump into it. Okay, well, let's begin our study about atoms by explaining a couple of definitions. The first definition, a molecule. A molecule is the smallest portion in which you can divide a material without having it to lose its properties. So if you have something, a material or whatever thing you have, and you can divide that thing, that something, into smaller and smaller portions, as long as you have that the portion behave with the same property of the original material, you have a molecule. Okay, so that's the definition of a molecule. Then, molecules are built by small units of matter called atoms. So atoms are the basic structure that you can have to build molecules. On this picture, we have a graphical representation of the structural model of an atom. It is kind of an old model, but we can use it in our introduction of the study of an atom. The first thing we can notice from the structure of an atom is that it has a nucleus. Inside the nucleus, we will find two types of particles. One type of particle are called neutrons with no electrical charge. And the other type of particles we might find in the nucleus are called protons with positive charge. So these are the two kinds of basic particles we might find in the nucleus of an atom. One of them, the neutrons with no charge, and the protons with positive charge. Later, in the outermost regions of the atoms, we might find another type of particle we call electrons. Electrons have negative charge. And as I said, they are located in the outermost regions of the atoms. They are located far, far away from the nucleus. As mentioned before, electrons have negative charge and protons have positive charge. So normally in an atom, the negative charge in electrons tend to balance the positive charge in protons. Therefore, if an atom contains equal numbers of protons and electrons, the atom is called, or it is said, or it is described as an electrically neutral atom. So in order to have an electrically neutral atom, we need to have in the structure of the atom the same amount of electrons and protons. Well, as I said before, the model we have described on the left side of the slide we have on the screen is considered a very early model of the atom. It's a very old model of the structure of an atom. A more modern conception of the structure of an atom might be seen at the right side of the slide, in which we have the nucleus of the atom surrounded by a region where we can find the electrons surrounding the nucleus. That region where we can find the electrons is called electron cloud. So we might think that the whole region that surrounds the nucleus is kind of a cloud. It is not exactly a cloud, but we might think of it as a cloud with electrons where we can find the electrons surrounding the nucleus of the atom. So that is the model that is used nowadays to describe the structure of an atom. Nevertheless, the one we used before, the one on the left, it is often used as an introductory structure model of the atom because it is easier for people to think that the electrons are orbiting the nucleus of the atom in very defined orbits, as we can see from the picture on the left. On the picture on the left, on the model of the left, we can see that the electrons travel along elliptical orbits, very defined orbits. Nowadays, we know that that's not the case for electrons. They don't move in very defined orbits, but we can use the model on the left as an introductory model. But as I said before, the model on the right is a more modern conception of the structure of the atom. Okay, let's talk about electrified objects. When an object acquires electric charge, it acquires that charge because it has gone through a process, to some set of procedures by which that object loses or gains electrons. So if we want to have an object to be electrified, we must have that object to lose or gain electrons. Processes by which an object loses or gains electrons occurred at an atomic level. So normally an object with no electric charge is an object with balanced atoms, just like the atom we have represented on the left side of the picture we have on the screen. There we can find that the amount of electrons in the atom are the same as the amount of protons in the atom. Therefore, the atom is balanced. Nevertheless, some processes might have the atoms of the object to lose electrons. And for those atoms, we might have the situation represented in the middle of the picture. In that situation, we have electron deficiency. We will have less electrons than protons in the structure of the atom. Another option to have electrified objects is to have the atoms of the object to gain electrons, and therefore we'll have an excess of electrons in the structure of the atoms that make the object, just like the situation we have represented on the right side of the picture on the screen. On that representation, we might see that we have more electrons than protons in the structure of the atom. Then we have an excess of electrons. Then those are the situations that might occur in the structure of the atom that make an object, and then we might have the object electrified. Later, if the process has the object to gain electrons, it will get negative charge. But if the process has the object to lose electrons, it will get positive charge. So in order to get an object with negative charge, we must make sure that the object will get an excess of electrons. And if we want the object to get positive charge, we must make sure that the object will lose electrons. We'll have electron deficiency and it will get a positive net charge. So as I said before, if the object has the same amount of positive and negative charge, the object would be in a neutral state, okay? Just like the object we have represented on the left side of the picture we have on the screen. And if for some reason we have the object to lose electrons, to have the atoms of that object with electron deficiency, then the object will gain positive charge. Why? Because the amount of positive charges in the atoms of the objects will be greater than the amount of negative charges in the object. Then, if the process has an object to gain electrons, it will have more negative charge than positive charge in the structure of the atoms. Therefore, the object will gain negative charge, just as it is represented on the right side of the picture on the screen. Well, that's it for this very short presentation about the atom and the structure of the atom. I hope you have enjoyed this presentation. I hope you have learned something useful, and thank you for watching.